let's end this by making the login and sign up function. So I will create function named post, because we'll send data, login. All right, it doesn't matter to repeat the last part, because the context that is the login is the same of the endpoint. All right, so it doesn't matter. So here we should validate our data, but I won't make it. So I will create a statement that it will be equals to the PDO prepare the SQL. So here I must check if there is a login with this. There is that login, right? So select all from login. I think I didn't use the plural in login. I'm sorry. So login where login is equals to column login. So this is the one that will be replaced. So limit 1, because I just need to check if there is. Statement set bind parent. First one, the one I want to replace, that is column login, and the data that in theory comes within the data. So I will something like this, data login. So I will a statement execute. Here is just to check. So I will straight check if the count, that is the size of statement fetch all. So here I do not need to use the fetch associative, because I'm just checking if there is if this array is greater than 0. So if there is someone with the same login. If there is, I will throw an exception. So I don't need to handle this data exactly. I will say login already exists, passing the 400 because it's a bad request. So if not, I'm sorry, this is not login, this is the sign up. I will change this to sign up. I'm just doing the things and then remembering, I'm sorry. Now that I'm sure there is no login with the same name, I can just copy and paste this part. But now, instead of select, it will be insert into login values. So if you do not know what this, so this line inserts a tuple, a line or a set of data inside of this table login. With this same statement, insert into login values, the things inside of these parentheses should have the same order of the table. If you do not want to use the same order of the table, you actually should insert into login in parentheses, passing the name of the field you want to fill, and then values, passing the values you want to insert. All right. In this case, I will follow, because it doesn't matter for me. That is the ID that will be automatically sent by the database, so I do not need the login, the password, the created at default and updated at. For the password, I should encrypt, and I will do it. Let me just finish this part, all right, of data binding. So for the login, will be login and the password. So before everything else, I will check the same way I did uh, in the previous. I will check if either the array key exists in data, the login and the password. I will throw an exception by the request because login and password required. Remember, this is not exactly validation, all right? For login, I would need to check as well the length of the login because I set the max number of 16 characters. The password, checking the special characters and so on as well, all right? So you gotta do this type of validation. So now I will encrypt the password. Guys, it's really, really important. Now that you are making something related to database, you gotta know that it's really important to handle data with responsibility. All right, I am talking now very seriously because data is something that I know that big text and a lot of examples do not do this correctly, but personal information, it doesn't matter which, like email, password, and whatever, should be stored and managed very carefully. It is something important for both ends, and even it's just for the user, it is important to handle this carefully. So encryption is the most basic thing you should do in order to protect both, right? You, the developer or the company, and the user, right? So what I will do, I will set the password to be encrypted using the algorithm SHA 256. All right, you could use one of the most simple one, that is MD5. All right, what you can do, like MD5 would be the password plus ideally a salt, that is just a phrase or a number, a word, such as League of Legends you want for your company name, or the application name is good as well, right? But there is some cases that MD5 is the encrypt very easy, all right? That's why I'm not using it. Oh god, I'm not using it. I will use the hash using the algorithm SHR 256. You could use other SHR, all right, such as 128, for example, or even other hexadecimal encryptations, and not exactly hexadecimal, anything that you not encode only, such as base 16 or base 64 encode, but actually encrypt, all right? So this should be enough to encrypt our password. We are just assigning the encrypted version, and we will not ever, actually there is a chance, but will never be able to retrieve or to match this password, all right? Just to randomly guess a brute force, all right? I'm saying this because SHA 256. There is a combination, actually, like depending the size of the text, you might need like I think 1.7 or 1.8 the undecillion years. So, so maybe the universe will collapse before you able to brute force this brain. So now that this password is encrypted, now we can like return um, uh, an associative array, something like login successfully saved, for example. All right, let me save and let's go to the login part. We can just grab this first part of it, all right, until the execute. So from the if to the execute, we can just copy and paste right here. But if we don't want, we check if there is login and password keys inside of the data. Then we prepare, select all login, all from login, where login is equals to colon login and password is equals to colon password. Then we also bind to a statement password password. Here, before everything, I also, since it is encrypted, I should encrypt here as well to compare. And here, it should only have one login and password with the same thing. So it's totally okay to use for each as well in here. And the same thing, statement, fetch all, but now using the PDO, fetch associative. As row, for example, and the side of it just returning the first result. All right, and then if this, if the user try to log in with something that does not exist, for example, so I will throw an exception in here that no login found. Login or password wrong. It's always a good idea to use to say that one or the other is wrong. All right. Why is this? Because there is some users that complains about which one is wrong. But guys, if for example a hacker, actually not even a hacker or a cracker, just a normal person, try to log in, for example, and mistype the email, all right, but got a random password correct, such as 123 1 up to 9, for example. This is the password, but mistyped the login, the email, and the login or the email is wrong. So it means inside of my database there is a login with the same password. This is not good. Or even the contrary. If just someone you know, for example, try to check if you are signed up into this application or this website or whatever, all right? Just check it. Type your password, your email, and it's there. The password is wrong, so the email is correct. This is dangerous as well. Not only someone you know, but a stranger, for example. This is dangerous. That's why we remark to use one or other is wrong. All right. So this is good enough for now. We could use SMTP to deliver email, but I'm not sure if these application have the SMTP correct. But so I want to like send an email with a code to the email, all right, to confirm the identity. At least yet. I could do this later, but for now this is enough. All right. So now the next part is on Godot. All right. Make sure to add this parenthesis I forgot to add. All right. So now let's go to the next step.